All right, so get this. We're going deep on AI agents today.
Oh, wow.
Way beyond like your typical chatbot stuff, you know?
Yeah.
You sent us this research report just called AI Agents,
Uh-huh.
and it's got some really wild ideas in it, I gotta say.
It's pretty fascinating, yeah.
Yeah, like when I first saw the title, I thought, oh, another chatbot thing.
Right, right.
But this is about AI that can like actually do stuff.
It really is.
Almost like a little digital worker, you know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah. It's about AI moving from just, like, generating text or pictures
Right.
to taking action, like accomplishing things in the real world.
That's exactly what I got from it too. And
That.
they even had this chef analogy I thought was pretty clever.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Where it's like the agent gathers information, that's the ingredients,
Oh, wow.
and then it uses reasoning, like following a recipe,
Right.
and then the action is like the actual cooking.
Make perfect sense, yeah.
It does, it does. But then they also talk about these three kind of key parts of an AI agent.
Yeah.
The model, the tools, and the orchestration layer. What's all that about?
Okay, so the model is like the brain of the agent.
Okay.
Usually it's a big language model, an LLM,
Right, one of those.
trained on tons of data,
Mm-hmm.
and it's what makes the decisions based on, what it's learned.
So that's where all the thinking happens.
Yeah, you get it.
Go, then what about the tools? That's where it gets kind of interesting to me.
Yeah, so the tools are how the agent interacts with, like, the outside world.
Okay.
It's how we connect it to things like APIs, databases, the internet,
So if the model is the chef, the tools are like
knives, the oven.
little kitchen, yeah.
Exactly.
Gotcha. And then what was that last one? The orchestration layer?
Right, so that's, it's like the manager
Okay.
decides what the agent should do and when, using stuff like this technique called react,
React.
which stands for reason plus act.
Uh-huh.
It's basically a way for the agent to think through a problem step by step.
Oh, interesting. So it's like React helps the agent figure out how to use its tools to reach its goal.
Exactly.
Gotcha. But one thing I was wondering, the report makes a big deal about the difference between agents and just plain AI models.
Mm-hmm.
What's so special about agents? Why the hype?
So one big difference is that models are kind of stuck with the data they were trained on,
Okay.
but agents can pull in like up-to-the-minute information
Right.
using those tools we were just talking about.
Yeah.
So, like, imagine a travel booking agent, right?
Okay.
That can access live flight prices and what's available instead of relying on some old data set.
Right. That makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it does.
So it's not just about what the AI, knows, in quotes,
Yeah,
but what it can actually do by getting current info.
exactly.
That's cool. And the report dives into some of those tools that give him this real-world power.
Right.
One example is like extensions,
Yeah.
which are, I guess, standard connections to APIs.
Like, imagine pre-built modules for specific tasks, like talking to a weather service or a stock market API.
Oh, that's handy.
They even give a code example
Oh, wow.
for, like, a code interpreter extension, which lets the agent run Python code based on just, like, natural language instructions.
That's pretty slick. So you could build an agent that can like handle all sorts of complicated stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
But what if you need like more control,
Yeah.
custom stuff? I think they mentioned something called functions.
Right. So functions are perfect when you need the agent to do something super specific.
Okay.
Or access data that's, behind a firewall or needs certain security protocols.
Ah.
So the agent basically calls a function that runs code on your side
Mm-hmm.
outside the AI's reach directly.
So it's like delegating to a trusted helper.
Exactly. Yeah.
Gotcha. And then there's this whole data store concept, which sounds a lot like that retrieval augmented generation stuff.
The RAG stuff.
Yeah.
So the data store is basically the agent's external memory, a place to store the latest info that it can use to, like, answer questions or get tasks done.
So that's what powers those RGAPs.
It is, yeah.
Instead of just going off its initial training, it can use this
Right.
this data store to give like more accurate, up-to-date answers.
It's constantly learning and updating.
So it's not just using what it, learned in school a while back.
Exactly.
This is really cool. I'm starting to see how powerful these things can get.
Oh, yeah, and we haven't even talked about the training aspect yet.
Oh, right.
The report gets into some really interesting ways. They're teaching agents how to do specific tasks effectively,
Oh, now I'm curious.
using things like in-context learning and fine-tuning.
Okay. All right, let's dig into that in part 2 of this deep dive.
Sounds good to me. We'll unpack those techniques, and then we can explore some of the tools people are actually using to build these agents out in the real world.
Okay, so back again. Last time, we were wrapping our heads around this whole AI agent thing.
Yeah, how they're different from just regular models.
Right. And all those tools they can use, it's pretty wild.
It is, it is. And I think we were just about to dive into how they actually train these agents to be so capable.
You're right, you're right. The report mentioned in-context learning, which sounds like almost learning on the job, right?
Yeah, kind of like a crash course.
Yeah.
So let's say you want an agent to write, marketing copy.
Okay.
With in-context learning, you'd give it some examples of like successful
You
campaigns
show it what works.
and let it sort of analyze those to pick up the style, the approach.
So it's learning by example, but in a very specific situation.
Exactly. Yeah.
But then they talked about retrieval-based in-context learning,
Right.
which sounds even more complicated.
It is a bit more intricate, but also way more powerful.
Okay.
So imagine our marketing copywriter agent again.
Okay.
With retrieval-based in-context learning, it doesn't just have those few examples you give it.
It can go do its own research.
It can search through a huge database of like successful campaigns.
So it's like in-context learning, but with like a massive library to pull from.
Exactly. It's like giving it access to, a whole history of marketing wins.
That makes a lot of sense. And then there's fine-tuning, which sounds more like, classic training.
Yeah, fine-tuning is where you take like an existing model and train it further on a specific task or area.
So it's like sending our marketing agent to like a specialized writing course or something.
Exactly. It helps it get really good at, the nuances of marketing language and strategy.
It sounds like you can mix and match these training methods to make some really specialized agents.
You absolutely can. And the report really emphasizes that experimentation is key.
Makes sense, yeah.
Figuring out the best way to build these agents often means trying different things,
See what sticks.
seeing what works best for that particular task. There's no like one-size-fits-all solution.
Right, each one's going to be a bit unique.
Exactly.
But I was curious about, the report also mentions LangChain and LangGraph.
Yeah.
What are those all about?
So those are really powerful tools for actually building and deploying these AI agents.
Okay.
LangChain gives you a way to like chain together different parts,
Okay.
like the models, the tools, the prompts to make these like complex workflows.
Uh-huh.
And then LangGraph lets you like visualize and manage all that.
So you can see what's going on.
So you can actually see how your agents are working and maybe spot areas you can improve.
So LangChain's like the assembly line and LangGraph's the blueprint.
That's a great way to put it. And the report even walks through a simple example of using LangChain
Okay.
to build an agent that can answer those multi-step questions.
Like, what would be an example of that?
Like, imagine asking, who did the Longhorns play last week? And what's the capacity of their stadium?
Oh, okay.
The agent has to first figure out who they played,
Right.
then find info about the stadium. LangChain helps organize all that.
That's really impressive. So these tools are making it way easier to build agents that can do these complex real-world things.
They really are. But then when you need something even more robust, like for big companies,
It's enterprise level.
yeah, the report talks about Google's Vertex AI platform.
Right.
It's a whole platform for building, testing, and deploying these agents at a huge scale.
So this is like the serious stuff.
It gives you all the infrastructure and tools to take an agent from like a prototype to a real live system.
So it's like the one-stop shop for agent development.
Pretty much. They even have something called Vertex Agent Builder, which makes creating those agent workflows way simpler.
Oh, that's nice.
And with Vertex extensions, you can easily connect your agents to, outside APIs and services.
Sounds like they thought of everything.
It's a pretty comprehensive system, yeah.
So we've got all these incredible tools now for building and deploying these agents. But I gotta ask, like, what does this all mean? How is this gonna change things?
That's the big question, right?
Yeah.
The report kind of hints at this future where agents become these essential helpers,
Like little assistants for everything.
helping us with like scheduling stuff, managing our money, all sorts of things.
Like having a personal team of experts.
Yeah. Imagine an agent that can, analyze market trends and give you investment advice.
Oh, wow.
Or plan your whole vacation, book flights and hotels,
Mm.
suggest personalized itineraries.
That'd be amazing. But with all this talk of like super capable AI agents, aren't there some downsides we should be thinking about?
Of course, any powerful technology comes with, risks. One concern is what happens to jobs.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
As these agents get better, they could start automating tasks that right now humans are doing.
That's a good point. And I imagine there are ethical concerns too, right?
Absolutely. Giving these AI agents so much power, we need to be very careful about how we design them, how we use them.
Make sure they're used for good.
Make sure it benefits everyone. We need to be really thoughtful about all this.
So lots to consider as this all keeps
It's
developing.
a rapidly evolving field for sure.
But before we get too deep into those implications, I want to kind of shift gears a bit.
Right.
In the last part of our deep dive, I'd love to look at some specific examples where AI agents are already making a difference in the real world.
Yeah, that'd be great. We can look at things like healthcare, finance, even scientific research.
Okay, so we've talked about what AI agents are, how they work, all the cool tools for building them. But now I'm really interested to see how are these things actually being used out in the world?
Well, one area where we're seeing some really exciting applications is in scientific research. The report highlights how agents can analyze huge data sets and even help design experiments.
Oh, wow. I could see that being huge for fields like, I don't know, genomics or drug discovery. Instead of a whole team of scientists poring over mountains of data,
Yeah,
you could have AI agents doing a lot of that work.
exactly. And it's not just about speed. Agents can often find patterns and connections that humans might miss. You know,
Oh, interesting.
they see the data in a different way.
That's really cool. It's like having a super powered research assistant that never gets tired or misses anything. The report also talked about this idea of agent chaining, which sounds like a whole other level.
It is. It is. Agent chaining is where you have multiple agents, each one specialized, working together to solve a problem.
Like a team.
Yeah, like a team of experts, each with their own kind of area of expertise,
Okay, yeah.
collaborating on a big project.
So instead of one agent trying to do it all, you have a whole team, each one a master of their domain, all working together.
Exactly. The report gives an example of an agent that specializes in market research working with an agent that's really good at financial analysis.
Okay.
They could find new investment opportunities that might have been missed before.
That's really interesting. And I bet you could apply that to all kinds of stuff.
Absolutely.
Like in healthcare,
Yeah.
you could have an agent that's like an expert at diagnosing diseases, working with another agent that focuses on, personalized treatment plans.
Exactly. And the report even suggests that agent chaining could lead to whole new industries and business models we haven't even thought of yet.
Whoa, that's pretty wild to think about. But with all this talk of super capable AI agents and everything they can do,
Uh-huh.
aren't there some things we should be, careful about as they become more common?
Of course. I mean, any technology this powerful comes with, potential downsides. One thing we need to think about is transparency.
Oh, yeah.
We have to be able to understand how these agents are making decisions,
Especially when those decisions affect the real world.
especially in fields like, healthcare or finance, where the stakes are so high.
Yeah, if an AI is recommending a treatment or an investment, we need to know why.
Exactly.
We can't just trust a black box.
Right. And that leads to the whole question of accountability, too.
Oh, right, right.
If an agent makes a mistake, who's responsible?
Yeah, good question.
Is it the people who built it? The
Yeah.
company using it? The person who followed its advice? These are tough questions.
It seems like we need some rules, some ethical guidelines as
Yeah.
this all develops.
We do. We can't just let these things run wild without any, oversight.
Yeah, for sure. It's important to remember these agents are tools, right?
Yeah.
They can be used for good or bad. It's up to us to make sure they're used the right way.
Absolutely. It's our responsibility.
Well said. Man, it's been a fascinating journey exploring this world of AI agents.
Yes.
From just the basics to real world stuff and even peeking into the future a bit.
This field is moving so fast.
It is. It's clear that AI agents are going to be a bigger and bigger part of our lives.
No doubt about it.
I think this deep dive has given us all a lot to think about.
It has. It has.
Both the exciting potential and also the challenges we need to watch out for.
It's a topic that's going to keep people talking and keep the innovation going for a long time to come.
Well, that about wraps up our deep dive into AI agents. We hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for listening.